What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly Sports History for January 5th, 2025. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to an Eagles Game Day. I guess you could call it an Eagles Game Day edition of the podcast. Eagles Giants this afternoon, glorified preseason, but this is what it comes to. And this is what happens, I guess, when you're a good team. So we will take it. And if you hear any noise in the background, I do have a co-host this morning sitting alongside of me, curled up in my chair on a blanket. So before we get into today's episode, let's do some quick housekeeping. First, follow me on social media, Jimbo_Mont on Twitter and TikTok. On Instagram, at PhillyJimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont. Continue to spread the word as we grow this thing in 2025. We're regularly featured in the On Pattison email newsletter, so go check them out. Delivered right to your inbox. And just received word this morning. I've been sitting on this for a little bit, but within the next couple of weeks, and I will keep you posted on all the details, I will be featured on KYW News Radio as the Fan of the Week. Did an interview with them a few weeks ago. Did some other things. They needed a second voice, the editing process and everything. So stay tuned for that. I will keep you posted once I get the details from Dave and the team over at KYW. But awesome stuff. Great opportunity for the podcast. I am excited. So I will keep you posted as that information comes out. All right, let's get into the Eagles. Let's start with a recap of yesterday's question of the day. We talked about Jeremy Fowler from ESPN reporting that if the Eagles lose in the first round of the playoffs, Nick Sirianni's job would be in jeopardy. So I asked you, should Nick Sirianni keep his job if the Eagles lose in the first round? Pretty close vote and went back and forth all day, and depending on which platform, people on different platforms had different responses, but 55% of you said no. I don't think I agree with that. I do think he's done enough. I think the numbers speak for himself. We've talked a lot about his numbers and how it's like a historic pace that he's on, and just the way the players like him. So I can't see that, especially I think a lot depends on how they lose, but I just really don't see that happening. But thank you, as always, for participating in the question of the day. There'll be another one later in the show. It's an Eagles game day, so I'm sure you know what it is already. All right, so let's get into this game. The line is up to 2.5. The Eagles are favored by it. At one point, I think it was I feel like I saw a 7 at one point when it opened before they knew who was playing or whatnot. It dropped down to 1.5, and now it's at 2.5. The over-under is 36.5. Nobody allegedly is playing. I know we had a discussion, had a dinner with my cousins last night, and the topic came up, obviously, about Saquon, and I guess they were playing. My one cousin was playing with the semantics of it. That Nick said he's probably not playing. He's not officially ruled out. I guess we'll know when the inactives come out. But I don't think they're going to do it. No, I don't think he's going to play. So essentially, what we have is a glorified preseason game, which makes the keys to the game hard. However, I did come up with 3 keys to the Eagles for the Eagles to win today. I think there is a good opportunity here. And truthfully, I'm looking for certain things with this game. It doesn't matter one way or the other. How they can, though, tie the team or the franchise record for wins in the season with 14 with a win. So that's still at stake. You got guys playing for jobs. And if anybody wants to sponsor the 3 keys to the game, KeyBank, a local dealership, I'm open for it. But here are the 3 keys for the Eagles to win. I think Tanner McKee, show us what you got. The backup job, I think, is yours to be had. This is going to be, even though it's not, I mean, I guess it's technically an NFL defense. This is a slight step up from the preseason. The Giants do have some players. They have a decent pass defense. So this is a good opportunity for you to put on tape and show what you can do and really put a stranglehold on that backup quarterback spot. Not only for next year, but with Kenny Pickett's ribs being slightly I don't know if they're broken, bruised, or whatever. You could actually get a shot here, God forbid, in a playoff game. So play well, make the other guys around you better, and then this is your audition. This is your time to shine. Second key of the game is, even though it's the backups, they got to stay healthy. And part of why everyone isn't playing is obviously it's for rest, but I think a big part of it is to avoid any unnecessary injuries. However, these backups play key parts on special teams, so we need them to be as healthy as possible as well going into the next round, or going into the first round here of the playoffs. But I do also think it's a chance for guys like Keely Ringo, Isaiah Rodgers, Jahan Dotson to really step up and shine and play well, but do it within the parameters of the game. Don't get hurt. Try to stay healthy. And truthfully, I'm looking forward to seeing Jeremiah Trotter Jr. play today. See what he got. And again, this is not elite level offense that you're playing against today. However, it is a slight step up from a preseason game. And I mean, they threw up 40 on the Colts. I mean, the Colts are terrible, but they did throw up 40 on the Colts last week anyway. And finally, we'll just be scoreboard watching. The Commanders and Packers play at the same time. Again, I don't think it matters who we play. I would love personally to see Washington, not because I'm scared of Green Bay, but I would love to see the third matchup against these two teams with a revenge spot, a healthy Jalen, and everybody ready to go. So that's who I'm kind of looking forward to. I know it's a division. I know it's the third time they're seeing each other, but I would love to see that in a revenge spot. And a bonus key here, get healthy, Jalen. I need to hear some positive news at some point this weekend or tomorrow about his progression through the concussion protocol. So the three keys. Tanner McKee, here's your chance to shine, brother. Let's see what you can do. I feel the backup quarterback job is right there for you to take. So this is your chance to show what you can do. Stay healthy. You need these guys for special teams, so no need to really go out there and take unnecessary risks, especially in a meaningless game. But I am looking for guys like Keely Ringo, Isaiah Rodgers, and Trot. And maybe we can get Jahan Dotson rolling and have a third weapon in the passing game. And then finally, just watch the scoreboard. Let's see who we play. I'm anxious to start making my weekend plans so I know which game we're going to this weekend, or what day I should say. And Jalen, get well soon, man. Get well soon. So with all of that being said, it's very, very hard to make a pick here. And 2.5 is a small number. The Giants are a terrible team, and I don't think they did themselves any favors by winning last week. And selfishly, I would love to see the Eagles lose this game to really mess with the Giants' draft position. However, I really think going into the last game of the season, the Eagles are going to be more hungry. The guys that are playing for the Eagles today are going to be hungrier than what the Giants are. The Giants are looking forward to what they're doing, vacation plans next week. You got guys like Tanner McKee, Keely Ringo, Trotter Jr., Isaiah Rodgers, Jahan Dotson, a lot of these young guys looking to really show the coaches that they could get more playing time if needed. As much as I would love to see the Eagles lose this game and just completely mess with the Giants, I'm going Eagles -2.5. I think the Eagles are going to be playing harder. I think at some point, and this was the argument that the people that wanted Saquon to go for the record were making, at some point the Giants are just going to kind of mail it in. They're going to realize the season's over and just start looking ahead to their vacation, golf trips, whatever they got, kids' recitals. Eagles -2.5. Also, that total is super, super low. I think it's disrespectfully low, especially when you saw Tanner McKee, what his throws looked like the other day. I like the over in this game, too. Over 36.5, Eagles -2, 2.5. It's a good parlay if you want it. But there we go. Eagles minus 2.5 is our official pick for today. But what do you think? That's today's question of the day. Who do you got? Eagles, Giants, 267-495-8531. That's the Back to the Future voice and text line. Hit me up. Get that. Anything else Philly sports related off your chest. Send a text. Call. Whatever you got to do. But let me know your prediction for today's Eagles-Giants game. Be sure to check out my boys over at the Clashing Conferences podcast, doing great things over there on their Sports Fan Network. That's available wherever you get your podcasts as well as on YouTube. And then do some shopping today. Get those bird wing shoes. They're phenomenal. They're comfortable. Get the shoes. Get ready for the Eagles Super Bowl run. And use the promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off your order. That's phillygoat.com. Promo code Jim Montgomery to take 10% off your order. All right, Sixers. Good win last night. Yes, it was the Nets. Yes, nobody played really for the Nets, but 123-94. Sixers beat the Nets up in Brooklyn. Joel had 28 and 13, sat the entire fourth quarter because the game was in hand. But my biggest takeaway from this game is the energy level. It just, the complete opposite of what they had in the Golden State game. They came out, and maybe it was the West Coast thing, which you know I hate the West Coast games, but they came out with a ton of energy. They were ready to go, ready to roll. The bench was fired up, and I don't know, could they be finally turning this corner? Maybe a West Coast trip where they all bonded and were stuck in a hotel together for a better part of a week. Maybe, just maybe, it's starting to come together a little bit, and I know, here's the Lucy with the football. Jim's getting sucked back in again, but I don't know, the energy level, that's the thing I think that was missing. The energy and like the team camaraderie. They looked like they were fired up and ready to go. So maybe a West Coast trip is what was needed. They finished the road trip 4-2, so you can't complain. And I mean, you're going to have duds like they had in Golden State every now and then. I'm excited. I'm back in. I never really jumped back off after the last time I got back in, but I'm back on. I'm back on the bandwagon as they start a 3-game homestand starting tomorrow against the Suns. Flyers also looking to get some of that energy and better play going today up in Toronto as they complete their West Coast swing. And they're, like I said, there's always something like – I know the Phillies, when they go out west, they never seem to do well on the West Coast. It's just, I guess it's the travel. I don't know. So hopefully Flyers come out tonight with a little bit of energy and are able to get back on the winning side as they come back home as well. All right, today we're going to go back to 1991. And on this day in 1991, the Eagles lost to the Washington football team 20-6 at the Vet. In the NFC Wild Card team, they jumped out to a 6-0 lead early, but then it was all Washington after that. The crushing blow, and I vividly remember this and just being frustrated, was a Ben Smith 89-yard fumble return for a touchdown. Got overturned right before the half. The replay, the old school instant replay, showed that Ernest Biner's knee was down, and I remember looking at the replay. It looked like his elbow hit, but the ball could have been coming out. It was frustrating because that was a huge momentum killer. So instead of going into halftime 13-7, it ended up being 10-6 Washington, and it was all downhill from there. I think it was just a crushing blow because that plays that was a huge momentum swing as the offense was struggling. Washington did a good job of scheming against Randall Cunningham. But again, this game was just an ugly, brutal wild card game. Buddy Ryan pulled Randall Cunningham for a series or two in the third quarter. Jim McMahon couldn't get anything going, and there was a big beef on the sideline between Rich Kotite, Buddy Ryan, and Randall Cunningham. The belief after the game was that Buddy Ryan was going to be fired. Norman Brayman was mad that we're getting to the playoffs, but we're not doing anything. And yes, Buddy Ryan was fired 3 days later, setting off this game in particular, set off a huge series of what ifs. Like, what if Ben Smith's Fumble return, count it. What if he didn't fire Buddy Ryan? What if he left Randall Cunningham in the game? And that seemingly was like the end of the game there, because Randall obviously said it was a slap in the face. Was frustrated. But on this day, back in 1991, the Eagles lose to Washington 20-6 in the NFC Wild Card game, leading 3 days later to Buddy Ryan getting fired, and the wonderful world of the Rich Kotite era was upon us. Boy. All right. I probably should have moved some of the forgiveness around for today based on that, but that's okay. We'll get there. For the new year, instead of New Year's resolutions, I've been doing it since January 1st. We are not doing New Year's resolutions. We are forgiving people. We are trying to get the good karma, get that negativity off our backs. And today, we are forgiving Von Hayes. And this is a controversial one because there are some people out there who actually like Von Hayes and don't have anything bad to say about him. This is not for you. This is for everyone else who is not a fan of Von Hayes. And this is another one of the guys. We talked about it with Joe. We talked about it yesterday with Mike Mamula. Von Hayes is who he is. He's just a guy that is a solid major league everyday player. He's going to give you some excitement every now and then. He's not going to be the superstar of the team. And it's not his fault. Another case of it's not Von Hayes' fault for whatever happened in his career. I mean, anytime you trade 5 guys for 1 player, the expectations are going to be high. Doesn't matter if it's 5 prospects, 5 aging veterans, a mix of the two like it was for Von Hayes. Expectations are going to be high. He had a solid career in Philly. Hit .272 with 124 homers and 568 RBI. Made an all-star team. He was on some horrible, horrible teams. He kind of came in in 83 when the core of that team was aging. Caught Mike Schmidt at the end of his career. And there was a lot of bad players on the team. But it's not his fault that the front office overvalued him. I mean, the highlight to me of his career is he hit 2 home runs in 1 inning. But he wasn't a star. But like I said, he was a good role player. And it's not his fault that the front office at the time thought 5 players, whether they be prospects, one of them happened to be Julio Franco, but 5 prospects and some aging veterans, that's on the front office. That's not on Von Hayes. Now, Von Hayes did not help himself. By all accounts, I heard lots of people say he was a jerk. But maybe the expectations of being a 5-for-1 player got to him, and that's why he was a jerk. So, in an effort and in the spirit of bringing some good vibes to our Philadelphia sports teams this 2025 year, Von, I forgive you for not living up to the hype. I forgive you for being a jerk. It's not your fault. They overvalued you. You were a serviceable Major League Baseball player. Had some good, fun memories of you when you were playing when I was growing up. You were one of the better players on a bunch of terrible teams. So, Von, I forgive you today. It is not your fault. You were never going to live up to the 5-for-1 expectations. But that's on the front office. That's not on you. And I feel much better that I got that off my chest. So, Von Hayes, today, we forgive you. On this day in 1991, Eagles lost to the Washington football team 20-6 in the NFC Wild Card game, essentially ending Buddy Ryan's coaching career in Philadelphia as he was fired 3 days later. Who do you got for the Eagles game today? Eagles, Giants. Let me know what you're thinking. It is a glorified preseason game, but the keys to the game, Tanner McKee, it's your job to be the backup. Go show what you can do. Everyone else stay healthy. I'm excited to see Jeremiah Trotter Jr. play. And then scoreboard watch. Hopefully the Cowboys can cooperate because I would love to see Washington again in the revenge game. The Eagles in a revenge spot there will be a good one. And truthfully, I hope that the Bears and the Cowboys keep those games close because either way, both of the Washington and Green Bay are battling for that position and are going to play their starters. So the closer those games are, the more the starters are going to play. And the Eagles coming off the essentially a mini bye, I will take that. But be sure to let me know, who do you got? Those are the three keys. We're taking the Eagles minus 2.5. I also like the under. Ella, who do you got today? Eagles or Giants?
Eagles.
Ella's got the Eagles. There you go. Thank you for being my co-host today, Ella.
Yeah.
This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for January 5th, 2025. My name's Jim Montgomery. Her name is
Ella Montgomery.
And until next time, we'll see you when we'll see you. And go Birds. I'm going to get on real quick and show your face.
Yeah.
Hurry up. Hurry.
Go on.
There she is. Say bye. Say go Birds.
Go Birds. Yeah.